All right, what's up, kings and queens? Another episode brought to you by us, the educators. I am Oba, and I'm here with my brother.
Facts over feelings, facts over emotion.
And we have a great episode in regards to how the NBA, NFL, even soccer have all been watered down by just various factors in
For
order
sure.
to, I guess, you know, improve scoring, to help gambling odds. You understand? And us as true fans,
I'm saying, and get that money to come in. You know what I'm saying? We both sports management majors.
yes,
As you can
yes.
see, all even college football, college basketball, all these big TV deals, they get they coming in left and right. So they want you to view in. Ain't nobody really trying to see no defensive game for real
No,
no more.
not at all.
More scoring throughout the sports, but they definitely trying to water that shit down.
But here's the thing: even when you say that we're not trying to see defense, the NBA had a situation like I think last year when they stopped calling certain calls like
Mm-hmm.
the fake flop in, and they started adding where you can't kick your foot out,
Mm-hmm.
you can't draw these offensive calls that players usually
Yeah,
would draw,
the rip through that Harden was known for.
and it destroyed Harden's career from that point on.
Not y'all like
And the ratings were still high, and people were still interested in enjoying watching the game because you saw more of a balance.
facts.
Like I can understand. I'm not trying to watch the 90s or 80s where like at least even the 90s where it's going 70 points, 80 points a game. 90s the high, 100s a rare feat.
Oh
I ain't
God.
trying to watch that either. But right now the Pacers, who are about to at this time we're in right now, December 7th, December 8th, are about to play in the in-season tournament championship, and they beat the Bucks, they beat the Celtics, and now they're about to play the Lakers. And this is all because they had one of the greatest offenses of all time.
Facts.
The Kings had one of the greatest offenses of all time last year. And when I look at these teams, I'm like, it's not really one of the greatest offenses of all time, but the pace at which they play
The way they play,
is
yes.
so crazy that it automatically bumps them up in there.
Facts.
I saw a statistic that said right now the team with the lowest points per game is like 104 points. And if you put them in 2004, 2005, that team would be a top three offense in today's NBA. I mean, in that time's NBA.
Facts.
So that's the part where I'm like, there's an imbalance that we're seeing across the sports where there's a huge sacrifice of defense for offense, and now the defensive side is completely being removed.
For sure.
You understand? So we have a couple of factors that are playing are that's creating this. A couple of factors. One is the refs controlling the games more.
For sure.
We have the gambling in Vegas, where you see even the NBA put a rule in where players can have, I think, ownership in gambling companies or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quote me on that, but it's something in that aspect where players have the ability to gamble in random ways or own ownership in gambling companies. I'm not exactly sure, but something like that. Check the new CBA.
So we'll get the facts straight.
Yes. And the inflation in scoring, which is caused by the rule changes. You understand? No hand checking was taken out in 2003, 2002.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you start seeing a crazy rise in scoring. And the NBA, NFL started having like you can't touch the wide receiver after a certain amount of yards. You can't even really touch the quarterback at all. Now, depending
Facts.
on your skin complexion, that rule still varies.
Oh God.
You understand? And then also I feel like even in how the players are developed, you're not developing the whole athlete, the whole player, from the intangibles, the skills in terms of like working within a team concept. It's really just individual skill work amongst all positions, amongst all sports.
It's a dog eat dog world when it comes to that. Everyone play that one-on-one ball. They trying to make it to the league, but once they play on a good team, like they get bogged down. They don't know what to do. They just standing around because they wasn't trained on how to be a good teammate. They was just trained on how to be a one-on-one assassin.
Facts. Facts. So when you go through all these reasons, I want you to start off with one or two that you feel like you want to hit on and dig deep into, pause, because all these things play a huge role. And like you said, Tom Brady came out with a comment not too long ago, a week ago,
Mm-hmm.
where he says like he's make throws to make sure that his wide receiver didn't get blasted,
For
and
sure.
he had to consciously make throws. Because I used to watch McNabb, and I used to be like, bruh, make a pass to a receiver and catch it and run, bruh.
For sure.
That's your issue. I watched Tom Brady, and Bam was catching it in stride. Even though to me, he wasn't the most elite quarterback of all time. That's my opinion in terms of just natural skill. I
I
was
agree.
like, he could at least get the ball where like the player gets it and in motion. Brett Favre, he throw these crazy passes too.
Facts.
West be like, dog, what is he doing, bro? And you see the receiver could have to go crazy to make a catch. Versus if I catch that thing in stride, now I got a 50, 60-yard run.
And gone.
So little subtle things like that in NBA, I mean, in NFL, and then even in NBA, where it's kind of like you got James Harden and players who are just gaming the system. We're like, I'm gonna shoot 15 free throws, I'm gonna shoot 5 threes, and I'm at 35 points.
Facts.
Trey Young. So my thing is that it's not making the game better. Like it's not really as exciting, if you ask me personally, because defense is such an important aspect.
Yeah, I think we come to society where offense sells the tickets.
Yes.
Defense is definitely on the back burner. People like the flashier plays.
Mhm.
That's the we grew up on the Sports Center type of mentality, and now they take that to a far extreme. I want to hit on the refs though. I think the refs have a major role, and this is coming from a Kings fan in the early 2000s.
Hey,
The refs was the reason the Kings never won a championship. Probably the reasons why Portland never won a championship. The real reason why the Lakers three-peated at that time. Y'all can say Shaq and Kobe had it locked, but the Portland and Sacramento had better teams.
Sharks.
But the refs definitely worked the Kings. Probably worked Portland too because the relationship Rasheed Wallace had with certain referees.
Great thing you said. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just about to bring it back to today. The type of relationship that Chris Paul has with certain referees. Referees, man.
But even you see the referee for the Celtics fan referee that was caught. He was tweeting from a burner account about the games.
Yeah.
The whole time he was a Celtics fan, and he knows that every game he coached, he ref for the Celtics, they won.
Yeah, seen
You
that
understand? So even your man, what's his name? The Chris Paul beef dude?
Scott Foster.
Bruh, they said the one person Tim Donahue had a crazy friendship with was Scott Foster.
Yep.
They even said when the FBI raided his phone and got all his stuff, this call log, they said he had almost 150 calls to Scott Foster. The next two people was about 12 calls, 10 calls.
And like the kids say, BFFR, if you know what that means. Be fucking for real, bro.
It's like,
With the shits.
and the NBA tried to come out right away, going back to what you're saying about referees. When Tim Donahue got caught, the NBA, I ain't never seen them come up with a public statement so fast and saying that he was a rogue.
It's only him.
I'm like, what?
No way possible, Slim.
And this is
That's why
time-
that's why they did it so fast.
Bruh. So that's
Perception.
straight up. And that's the part where I say that, like, the referees in these sports is the reason why referees don't do interviews. We got
Facts.
referees have no accountability. Even a play will be obvious. They do reviews the next day, and they'll still say, like, yeah.
I'm
nah,
still side with the refs. Yeah, that last 2-minute report shit, man, that's BS, man.
And that's because it's just so obvious, and fans are just going crazy about where's the info? Like, where's, like.
Show me the Carfax, nigga.
Exactly. So the referees, this is why even me personally, when you have the instant replay, now you see it in every single sport. I believe personally that it's only a matter of time before we go to virtual, not virtual, but cyborg or robot referees.
Yeah, artificial referees for sure, yeah.
We're like maybe 5 to 10 years away.
Not for sure.
Easily. At the rate that we're at right now.
Not for sure.
And now you throw in the female perspective of referees, which I'm not saying men are the perfect referees, but I've already seen the last 4 or 5 years of now females have been added and forced into male games where the emotion.
For sure.
You understand?
Yeah.
Where, like, I seen a player react or have a conversation with somebody else and the ref is taking them up.
Ain't nobody even talking to you, bro.
Exactly, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that's the part where between the female dynamic and these old refs already, eventually they're gonna be like, nah, we just need to get what's it called?
What's the Rockets coach name?
Ime.
If Ime want to call LeBron a bitch, let that man call
That's
LeBron
what
a
I'm
bitch,
like,
man.
What? I'm like, that's what you checked him up and kicked him out the game for that? Yeah,
It's crazy.
it's a little ridiculous out here, and
What Kanye say? Not one man should have all that power, Slim. Referees got too much power.
Facts. Great, 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 great,
Oh
great
shit!
line.
God damn.
And then the next thing was, what effect do you think gambling and sports betting plays, and the inflation of scoring, or I guess the watered downing, the watered down basketball that we see now or football that we see now?
I think it's a major role. Especially you got these over unders, you got these player props, man. They probably like, hey Slim, we got like over $1 million on you hitting 20 points. Hey coach, man, tell them nigga sit down, bro. FanDuel called us in, bro. They can't take that loss. You gotta sit them down.
That's what I'm saying. Like when I seen Calvin really get caught, and who's the other person?
Jameis Williams,
And I'm like,
Jameson Williams, excuse me.
and I'm like, y'all think they're the only ones?
Nah, for sure,
It's like, come on, bro.
for
I
sure.
just tell people, LeBron threw the series against
Dallas, for sure,
Dallas, bro.
100%,
I
100%.
don't care what nobody say. You're not gonna tell me
Cam through the Super Bowl
Cam
against
threw the Super Bowl.
Denver.
There's too much money they can make. These Bama's have to, for sweat, blood, and tears, have to try to get all their money in the contract, and
For
they're
sure.
still being worked over in that contract based on TV deals and all these things.
And on top of that, taxes be smacking their
Taxes
heads
be-
with these fucking
they say-
contracts.
What's name got $100 million contract? No, he got $45 million.
Especially depending on what state you playing in. Hey, fellas, listen. You want to play in Florida? You want to play Texas?
That's it.
No state taxes.
That's the only.
Delaware, let's get a team, Delaware.
Delaware too. Exactly. That's the only places. But everywhere else, no, it's not. It's not legit. The salaries they're telling you. So, if I tell you that in one final series, LeBron can make $500 million in one series if he just bets against,
Himself
He-
like shit. Hell yeah.
and then he has to work really. He has to play really for 14, 15 years to get a $500 million contract. What do you think he's gonna do?
Oh, God.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all act like Cam Newton, especially on the football side. Back then, like a max contract, you know what I'm saying? And football gives you $100 million, and then they'll say 30 in guaranteed, maybe 70 in incentives if you hit that. Which they put all kinds of crazy stuff in it.
No,
I
for
saw
sure.
Drew Hardy had a max contract that said he could make upwards of 170, 180, but he got to be MVP of the league.
He's not saying that 180, 170.
Like what? He got to make all NBA first team and all NBA defense. He got to average 25, and I'm like, bro.
That's your agent's fault, Slim.
And then the media will push it out as if like this is the thing. So
Making that bag.
we say that to say that if there's an opportunity to make half my salary or half my career earnings in one playoff match or one Super Bowl, because this is what people can't get over. Cam would throw a Super Bowl. LeBron would throw an NBA Finals. Bro, these Bama's are playing a child's game.
Yeah. I feel to realize, like, if you was in the same predicament, bro,
You
you talking about
produce-
a fucking ring
The same,
over millions?
bro. These rings cost about the ring. Even the championship trophy costs about 50,000, 80,000, maybe 100,000 to make. Bro, these same players are selling it 5 years after their career is over.
Oh, God. I heard, I was watching some little YouTube short. Adrian James was talking about that ring diminished because after the fact, to him, after the fact, he had some dudes offering to sell him their Super Bowl ring.
Exactly.
It's like, bro, if you got people offer you to sell your
Exactly.
Super Bowl ring,
Exactly.
it's really not worth it, bro.
Exactly. Who the
You
hell
take
gonna
that
wear
money,
that
bro.
around? You know what I'm saying? So that's the part where like people underestimate, even when they say like when James Harden takes the $300 million contract or $200 million contract instead of just going to a new team and taking a pay cut. It's like, bro, that whole narrative about winning is everything. When he gets to this level, because of all the politics, all the business, all the uncertainties with injuries and situation, bro, the player's gonna take the money. Like Jalen Brown, great example. He don't want to be in Boston. Jalen Brown
God.
hates Boston.
Oh, God.
He is super racist. But you said 300 mil?
R.I.P. what Dolph say? Get paid, young nigga, get paid.
Straight up. You know what I'm saying? So that's why people don't understand the idea of like when you see a fair player or any player just having a random night, yeah, he probably gambling, bro.
Oh, God.
He probably gambling. You know what I'm saying? And Calvin really dumbass just did it from his own account. You know,
Facts.
players got a family member saying, hey, bro, I'm going to go for under 30 tonight or I'm going to go for 50 tonight. Put that in.
Oh
You know what I'm
God.
saying?
Hey, if my I seen a show Instagram dude was calling in pics from jail. If a nigga calling pics from jail, you best believe a nigga who playing
Come
who
on,
call the
bro.
damn pics
Come
in,
on,
bro.
bro. So that's another huge thing that plays a role. You know what I'm saying? Because you have not just players, as you said, we made the connection between Donahue and what's his name, and
And Scott Foster.
Scott Foster, and other situations where like they're not the only ones. They're
Oh
just not.
God, bro. It's like you saying in the other podcast. It's just the tip of the iceberg, man.
Straight up.
They only showing you what they want you to see.
You know what I'm saying? And even when you see Marshawn Lynch get pulled out or not given the ball,
At the 1 yard line.
I was like,
It's
bro,
crazy.
that's politics because we don't want this nigga talking about Africa with
No
the
bullshit.
post game and saying F Disneyland. And we also, everybody's probably betting that he probably going to take that. We know that's the opposite. People probably betting that he going to have 2 rushing touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? Or 3, whatever his number was. So one less than that.
Could you imagine this nigga was like, Marshawn Lynch, you just won the Super Bowl. How do you feel? I'm just here so I won't get fined.
And I'm going to Africa. You know what I'm saying?
Yo.
Putting up beads,
Nigga been sick as
regular
shit.
wooden beads. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
Yup.
saying? 'Cause he was rocking like the 3 African chains, the
Yeah,
wood
the
ones.
medallions, yeah.
The ones you get from the
yeah.
side dude on the street.
Hell
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Or the stand at the mall. I
That's
remember them
yeah.
joints. This just was
So-
fire.
That rewires the whole brain of hundreds of thousands of young people if they see that. You feel
Facts.
me? So yeah, what's it called? The gambling plays a huge role in what's going on in today's NBA, NFL, soccer, and there's no telling to what extent, who's doing it, who's involved. There's no way you're gonna know.
Yeah, facts.
Like when you see documentaries about UNLV running rebels and how they threw them some of their games. You know what I'm saying? The Michigan situation. I'm like, come on, bro. It was happening back then, and now we have a whole industry of gambling where it's everywhere.
It's
Come on.
legal now. Come on.
Come on, man. So that also plays a role.
How you feel about the inflation in scoring that's been taking over the past 5 years?
I think it's ridiculous. It makes me now. I don't know if it's just because I like defense but I just feel like it doesn't help because even the scoring that we're seeing, it's so typical. It's not. I mean, it's talented everywhere. It's talented everywhere in the NBA, but the defense just don't match. Like it don't look right. It's just like my turn, your turn on offenses.
And when it comes to the defense, like it's been mind-boggling for me with this switch every pick and roll. Like how do you feel about that new wrinkle on defense? To me, it's stupid as hell.
I actually love it if you have the personnel.
Most teams don't have the personnel, and that's
that's
why
what
they
makes
play.
it
That's why they run the
bad.
pick and roll because they know you can't stop the nigga.
Exactly.
They running the pick and roll for.
Exactly. And that's why, like, when we go back to, we talked about how we played my GM. I'm getting a center that can move. I'm getting a power forward that can guard 4 positions.
No, for sure,
I'm not getting no player that is an offensive liability.
for sure.
So all these players that we see in the NBA that just score offense like Trey Young, you can have them. I'm
Oh
good.
God,
I'll take a player that can give me 22 points. We'll play some defense.
facts.
You feel me? And I'll
Facts.
figure out the rest later. So that's the
Facts.
part where
On the flip side, you say Trey Young. How you feel? Would you have a Pat Beverly type player on your team who's strictly defender and
no,
is liability on offense?
no.
Respect.
No.
Respect.
No. My players have to be able to do 3 to 4 to 5 things on the court. We're not playing no Pat Bevs, you know what I'm saying? Because even he's so limited and he's a liability
For sure.
in a lot of aspects. So
For sure.
that's why
No PJ Tuckers.
no PJ Tuckers. We can't do that. Even PJ Tucker, to a certain extent, because he can guard 4 positions and can
Respect.
shoot threes, I don't mind him.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But I can only deal with one of those.
So
The other-
so no PJ Tucker and Jay Crowder on the same team.
Hell no. Hell no. And I need at least 3 of the 5 stars to be able to make good passes. I'm not dealing with just one player that can pass the ball for
Facts.
everybody
Facts.
or 2 players.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the part where, like, because your offense could be destroyed easily.
Bogged down like shit.
Easily. Like, the one thing the Pacers have in their favor, because Halliburton's vicious, don't get me wrong. But when you play 48 minutes or 40, whatever minutes is in a basketball game,
48, you had it.
now when Halliburton come out, Andrew Nemhard comes in and he averages down there 10, 11, 6 when he plays a full game all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he barely turned the ball over.
Facts.
He's not scoring the way Halliburton does, but the offensive pace of the team still stays.
For sure.
And then even when he goes out, TJ McConnell comes in and does the same thing.
They got a hell of a bench.
It gives you more defense. So now you have 48 minutes of just elite play at the point guard position to get everybody involved. That's why they have won the league offense of all time.
Yeah, it's crazy how like certain franchises always like I'm not saying not always winning championships, but always a winning organization.
Yes.
Like Indiana has been a winning organization since I can remember, since the '90s,
Yes.
2000s, throughout even the Paul George years.
And you know what's
After
funny?
Paul George, all that shit is just crazy.
Now, there goes back to the other part of the league and fans are too smart for their own good to the point where like losing is acceptable if you have the process
For sure.
or you have a plan.
For sure.
Like I ain't gonna lie, as a Bears fan, the Bulls fan, I want us to tank.
Tank for sure, yeah.
But once upon a time, that was a rare thing. And the reason why I say that is that Indiana has one of the few ownership groups that they always tell their GM and their coaches, I don't care what happens, we're not going to tank.
For sure.
You're going to put the best teams out there,
For
the
sure.
best players out there.
For sure.
If it comes down to the last 10 games of the season, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
But we're going to play hard whether we think we're a contender or not.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? The whole
Facts.
year. So that's the part where I can respect the organization for doing that.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And this is the byproduct, like you said, since we've been kids, they've always been competitive.
Always.
You know what I'm saying? But the problem becomes they're not likely to reach the zenith because the chance of them getting that type of play that they need is going to be hard and rare. Pause.
Sure.
Because even like what's his name comes in, Reggie Miller is random. But then at the end of Reggie Miller's career is when they got the championship opportunity with Ron Artest and all that.
Steven Jackson, Jermaine O'Neal, then the Malice and the Palace blew that shit
And that's
up.
what blew it up. But that was
Yeah.
at one time because of their small market.
Even before that, though, they remember they went to the finals against the Lakers.
They did go to the finals.
Yeah.
And that was the same team that was close. That was
yeah,
like
they
about 2 years apart.
Jalen Rose and them.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that structure
That
was
Nicholas
there.
was there for
You know
sure.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the part where it's kind of like, but if you have a small market, like I said, you ain't about to get Zion. That's
Nah, for sure.
you're gonna have to wish that you had the worst pick to get that player. And
And that's no guarantee that you're gonna get the pick.
you know what I'm saying, like we had Jay Wills, motorcycle. 10 years later, we had D Rose, 20 ACLs, and now we here. So that's the part where there's no guarantee. I realize sports is, you know what I'm saying, it's luck and preparation. You know what I'm saying. You just hope that those two things can collide. You feel me? So let's see. But in terms of the watered down of the league, how do you feel like defense plays a role and skill development?
Like you said, I think it's few and far in between defensive minded coaches. So everyone is for real. It's the Warriors. The Warriors fucked this shit up.
They did.
With
They
this
did.
3-point shooting, you got so many niggas
They
out
did.
here who can't even shoot threes.
did.
They
Shoot
just standing
threes.
behind the line
And just,
because they coach. Because the GM told the coach that we even getting threes or layups, no more mid range.
Straight up.
So for real, you took a lot of niggas out of the league who had that mid range game, and game could have been a glue guy for your team, and you replace him for a nigga who shoot threes and ain't gonna play no defense.
Malik Beasley and these Bama's, you know what I'm saying? Darius Bertan.
I was just
And
gonna
all
say
these
that
players
nigga, bro.
that's
Yeah,
like, how are you on the court?
yeah. hit or miss ass niggas.
How are you on the court? Like, it's disturbing. I feel like on an NBA court, you should be able to at least do 2 to 3 things.
For sure.
Well, your Bama's you can only do one thing. If that one thing ain't going, it's like
You're a liability, son.
liability, straight up. Like that's why it's the part. That's why it bothers me with some offensive players, like Trey Young, where it's like even John Wall at times when he wasn't interested, if they don't have the ball. Russell Westbrook, they just stop playing on
For
offense.
sure.
You understand? So that's the part where players going back to skill. We gotta develop players. That's why any sport, I always train players to try to play everything. Try to be good at a lot of things. Now we're gonna hone in on what's gonna help you for this team and whatnot, but you have to try to develop as many skills as possible.
But as in society, as a coach, do you really have the time to develop these
You
situations?
don't.
Because if they don't produce, nigga, we gonna find somebody else who
And I
can get
agree.
these niggas to produce.
So, and I always tell young people that, hey, when you come to practice, that's for us to work as a team, and we could possibly work with you a little bit.
Right.
But the rest of your life is time to practice.
For sure. For sure.
Don't be going to court. That's why even if you see UCLA runs
Mhm.
with what's Pam ex-husband or Gina ex-husband, they used to run them joints. Dang, what's his name?
Talking about Dwayne Martin?
Nah, Pam ex-husband. The dude that Rico Hines.
Rico Hines, okay.
Rico Hines is the ex-husband of Pam from Martin. No, yeah, Pam, the boxing one.
Chichina Arnold.
Yeah, you understand? And
Chichina, some shit like that.
he always tells them that don't come in here doing things that you don't do in a regular game. You understand?
Yeah, when you said that, made me think of Pat Ewing.
Exactly.
You shoot that shot?
Exactly.
Where do you shoot that shot at?
Exactly. You gotta go when you're in your free time to work on this stuff.
Like
It's crazy.
shit.
And once you're accepted to do it, then you can come and start doing it here.
Nah, for sure.
But I tell kids the same thing. I agree. We're not practicing none of that. If you spend your time doing that.
Yeah, bro, like you said, you play how you practice.
Exactly.
If you ain't practice that shit, don't bring that shit on the
bring
court.
it here.
Yeah.
You understand? So I feel with you. I feel you 100%.
Or you gonna be the new assistant coach, nigga. You sit next to me.
Exactly. So I can understand where you're coming from when you say, like, yeah, how do we spend time making a whole team better versus working on random player skill sets? We don't. We're going to give you things to work on. You should work on this. You should work on that when you're by yourself.
For sure.
But when you come here, this is what you're good at. This is what you're going to use you for.
For sure.
So that's the reality where I feel like as coaches, we got to just try to influence our young people doing things that are beneficial to them outside of practice. Like, and working on their overall game, working on their weaknesses as much as possible.
Yeah, you got to practice on your own time. You think the only time the practice is the set practice that your team have?
Nah.
You ass backwards, Slim, or you could be sitting on the bench.
100%. So with that being said, like I said, we're gonna also cover the NFL and even soccer in terms of how all these things are being watered down. But that was really just the basketball aspect, and that's the one thing I always say in life is that when you learn different skills and abilities, it makes you stand out.
For sure.
You understand? And that's the one thing I would say to anybody, no matter what area in life you're in, is that don't just be a one-trick pony.
Facts.
Don't just have one skill, one ability. It's not just about basketball. It's about life.
For sure.
You understand? So the more you develop other things and work on those things when you have that free time, quote unquote, then you can bring more to the table. Then you can have more options. You said what?
Accountability.
Exactly. And that's the first step it takes is you have to be accountable to what you're good at, what you're not good at, and how this thing is going to help you. You understand? So
Facts.
at the end of the day, like you said, be accountable so that you can do the right things and take care of everybody around you as much as possible so you can make sure everybody eats, B.
Everybody eats, B.